Shall we get started? I think.
Yeah.
A few minutes past 1:30. I think. Thanks for everyone for coming. I'm expecting we had about 12 primary schools sign up, so and we've got a few arts providers here as well. So it's what we hope to do today is, as in previous culture meets, this is a brilliant opportunity for teachers to put a face to some of the what can be sometimes kind of nameless institutions and cultural organisations around the city. So it's really an opportunity for you to get to know each other and make connections, and after this meeting to email each other, talk to each other, find out how your school can get involved in the arts sector and what's on offer across Nottingham. We will have various conversations today, I guess, and we definitely want to make use of the chat. But we always start off with a few kind of introductions and offers and things that our cultural organisations would like to share with you. So they get about 5 minutes each. I'll start kind of wiggling my fingers if you're going over your 5 minutes, if that's all right. And then there's a couple of people that have asked questions of me to ask of teachers as well, so that would be really great to have a conversation. So are we ready to kick off, Martin? Is there anything you'd like to say in way of introduction?
Nothing apart from hello. Let's get on with it. That's great.
That's great. Okay, so if we could start then, we had this fantastic I went along to the opening on Friday night at the Contemporary, and you'll all really love the new exhibition, I'm sure. So Charlotte, would you like to tell us a little bit about it?
Yes, sure. Yeah.
And just quickly, if everyone could turn off their mics, if you're not talking. Over to you, Charlotte.
Thanks, everyone. I'm going to try and share my screen. Can I share my screen? No. What can you see on my? Can you see an Eventbrite on my screen? No.
We can just see you. Yeah.
Can you just see me? Okay, not to worry. Yes, so we have a really lovely exhibition that's just opened called Assemble and Schools of Tomorrow, The Place We Imagine. And it's an exhibition that's been designed for children and local schools. And it's essentially, two of the galleries are I don't want to say playground, there's Playworks, it's interactive, there's 3 play sculptures that anyone can play on, adults included, and 2 of the play sculptures are kind of these architectural pieces. One of them is called the Big Red, and it's got some big slides on it, and the other one is called the Animal Roundabout, and it's these big kind of soft play almost kind of creatures. And the 3rd sculpture is called the Fun House, and it was designed with Robin Hood Primary School and one of our associate artists, Laura Eldrett. And then the rest of the show is being designed by myself and Laura and other associate artists, and our 8 partner schools on our Schools of Tomorrow programme. So it's been, Schools of Tomorrow is a 3-year programme that's funded by Paul Hamlin Foundation, and it places artists in schools working with teachers. And we're just finishing our 2nd year, so we've got 1 more year left of the project. And so it's been really amazing halfway through Schools of Tomorrow to exhibit upstairs in the galleries the work that we've been doing. And Assemble were really keen for Schools of Tomorrow to have a really strong presence in the galleries as well. Initially it was just an Assemble project, but it's through our partnership it's grown and turned into something much more. And on Thursday we have a teacher CPD, which we always have. We kind of call them learning previews, so it's a special preview of the exhibition, and we always have them the week after our exhibition opening. So it's a chance for teachers, if you're thinking of visiting us, to come and see the exhibition before you visit. as you can imagine, the health and safety risk assessments would be quite different for this kind of show. But also it's a chance to like meet us, meet the team, have conversations about what we can offer and how we can support a school visit. Our school offers are, we always have what's called a self-led visit, so they're completely free, and we have like a box of resources that go along with the visit which you can use for free, and we have an area where you can have lunch as well, and then we have our artist experience workshops, and they're £100 for city schools and £120 for county or outside of the city, and that's for an artist to plan a bespoke tailored workshop with you that meets the themes of the school but also links to our exhibition themes as well. And you can bring up to 60 children, and we always have 2 artists for 60 children, but rather than charging double, we only charge an extra £55. So for under £200, you can have 60 children in a 2-hour workshop with artists. And especially with this exhibition, it really is about amplifying children's voices. It's about leadership. It's about children as decision makers. It's about all of kind of the school values and the school ethoses that I see regularly when I'm working with schools, kind of brought to life through this exhibition, which is being designed with children for children. And our teacher CPD on Thursday is also about that. So rather than it being a teacher CPD where staff come and kind of learn from us, we want it to be more of a sharing event, because we know there's loads of amazing leadership and kind of stuff going on in schools where children are at the forefront, and you know, children as ambassadors, children as digi leaders, children as eco leaders, which is what we see. So it really is for teachers to come together and to share best practice and to build and platform play and how it exists and in different schools in different ways. So our teacher CPD is from 4 p.m. until 6:30, and from 4 to 4:30 it's kind of meeting the team and there's refreshments, and then the workshop will start at 4:30, and we've got lots of practical activities, and we can play on the artworks as well, and have those conversations about how play makes us feel, play strategies we can implement in schools, and how different schools are working in different ways to really celebrate kind of the children's voice. It's through Eventbrite. I'll put the Eventbrite link in the chat if you want to sign up. If you're free, and it's also, if you could only make half of the workshop as well, because we know it is kind of straight after school, that's also fine as well. We just like to see as many faces there as possible, and to kind of keep building those connections with schools around the city. Yes, we hope to see you there on Thursday. Thank you.
Sorry, that's brilliant. Thanks, Charlotte. I hope you get lots of people coming along, because it's really fun and you'll love it. It was really brilliant. It was opened last Friday, so if everyone gets a chance to go and take their kids, it'll be really memorable, I'm sure. Up next, could Hannah from the Music Hub say hi?
I can, if I can turn my mic back on. Yes, hello everyone, how are you doing?
Good.
Nice to see everybody, and apologies that the camera is off today, a little bit low on internet bandwidth, so it's a problem when you've got kids upstairs playing and husbands along the corridor doing whatever. So yeah, just lovely to see everybody. We've got a lot of events coming up over the coming months, and for those of you who are interested in singing and maybe have a choir, we have our Summer Sing event, and it's not too late for people to get signed up to that. All of your music leads at school will have had information about the Summer Sing, and there is teacher CPD, not only from Music Hub staff, but also from the singing group Apollo 5, who are a really fantastic a cappella vocal group who are going to be running events on the day. So there's workshops and so on to help your choir to prepare for that in advance. There's also a lot of events coming up for our ensembles. So for those schools who are involved with area band. There'll be lots of information coming out about the different opportunities they will have to get involved with events, some of which will be alongside our partner youth orchestra from Germany, who are coming over in July. So it'll be a really exciting opportunity, not only to play as part of the area band that they're enjoying being a part of, but also to meet some of our friends from Germany who are coming over for the first time in 3 years, which is really exciting. So lots of information to come about that. Also for those young people who have joined one of our more advanced ensembles, some of the bridging ensembles, some of our primary children are sufficiently experienced and with sufficient confidence on their instruments to be part of our link ensembles, which usually go by the name of Connect something or other. So it might be Connect Strings or Brass or Connect Folk or whatever it may be. So if you'll know them because that's the name of the ensemble that they're in. And again, there's lots of opportunities for them to get together and play as part of a range of different concerts. And what we're trying to do is to make sure that these are in really quite iconic venues across the city. So the Albert Hall, which you'll be familiar with, St Mary's Church, which is just beautiful and has the most incredible acoustic. So giving them a really good opportunity, not just to play together and to play music, which is challenging and is going to be really interesting for their parents to hear the progress that they've made, but also in some really exciting locations, just to give them a real sense of occasion and a real sense of what they've achieved and accomplished. So yeah, lots to look forward to. Keep your eyes on the website. There's always something going on there. And if you're looking for further details, then I'm usually the best person to ask. And if I'm not, then I will always be able to put you in touch with the person who is. So just get in touch and let me know. The only other thing to let you know about is that if you are a Year 5 teacher, some of your pupils may have been invited to attend music camp in September. And this is going to be the first time again in a number of years now that we've been able to hold this music camp as a proper residential. So this will be a 2-day opportunity for the children to come together in Ilam in the Peak District, which is an absolutely gorgeous location. And they'll be able to develop their music skills, including things like reading music notation, learning more about pitch, tempo, etc., and putting that all together as part of a band with lots of different schools and lots of different instruments represented, which is amazing. And then that will be the lovely stepping stone for them joining area band, which is going to be running in the same way next year as it has this year. So running area bands in schools rather than as groups of schools. So for individual schools, at least initially, but with opportunities hopefully every half term, but at least every term for everybody to get together in larger locations and have concerts and so on, which has been extraordinarily popular with parents since we've restarted those face-to-face opportunities. Our kind hosts the last time around were Ellis Guildford School, and we absolutely packed the place out. It was wonderful. So that will continue next academic year with music camp as the stepping stone to that. So yeah, there you go. Lots to think about. And if you need any information, just get in touch.
Amazing. Thanks, Hannah. Brilliant. So next I'd like to ask Dee, who's new to the National Justice Museum, and Jo to introduce yourselves and let us know about what's on offer there.
Hi, I'll introduce Jo, so you've all met her before. So Jo's the Learning Officer here at the National Justice Museum, and I'm the Learning Manager here. It's my 4th week, so I've practiced what I'm going to say quite a bit. Unfortunately, as a former teacher for 10 years, the one thing we cannot offer at the National Justice Museum is to lock up your poorly behaved children for the day while you gallivant, but we are open to negotiation. What we do offer is from Key Stage 1 onwards, we offer a range of established courtroom workshops that are some based on story, some based like Humpty Dumpty, some based on fact, that grow in complexity according to the year that you've brought in. We're quite open as long as there's enough notice to making them a bit more bespoke. And while the children are here, they have the opportunity to tour our absolutely incredible historic building and meet a range of actors playing roles such as matrons from the Victorian era and jailers and occasionally prisoners as well. They are always impressed by the jailer who is on display here because he's always very aggressive and shouts at the teachers, so it's a great chance for you to experience getting shouted at for a change. We also offer a range of exhibits and spaces around things like capital punishment, which can be quite a serious thing for older classes to talk about, quite evocative for Key Stage 2. And we also offer the experience for the children to see some of the cells in the museum and see what they used to be like, as well as handle objects and actually touch historical artifacts, as well as some replicas. Our courtrooms are fully functional, so when you go in, the children will have hopefully done work with you back in school, and we'll have roles to play, such as the jury, and they'll put people who are actually on trial here on trial. So at the end, they can decide who they think is guilty or innocent, but we'll also have a conversation about who actually was guilty or innocent, and we can go from there. It's a really fabulous day. And we also have the Choice and Consequences knife crime exhibit downstairs, which is in league with the Ben Kinsella Trust. And it is an incredibly emotionally impacting experience to see what happens because of knife crime. It has cartoon sections where we discuss it in a sort of more abstract form before we see actual things written by Ben Kinsella, whose sister was in EastEnders, which is why it hit the news when he was murdered in 2013. 2008, sorry. And basically the walk through the exhibit that we have in the museum shows you his family, his friends, the impact of knife crime, the laws around knife crime and then they get to meet somebody who in a prison cell who is in jail because of knife crime. So it is incredibly impactful, and that is actually fully funded. So you could bring children to see that completely for free, completely gratis. You've only got to speak to us and we can arrange full funding for it, and occasionally £100 towards the transport costs as well. And while they're here, they can also have a tour, and there's lunchrooms for them and things like that. Our future plans are quite exciting because we're thinking of, having been a primary school teacher myself and taught year 6 and year 5, I understand the pressures of getting their writing absolutely on par and spot on. So we are thinking of offering creative writing sessions within our building because it is so evocative, where we give you pre-work to do, and then you'll come and have a tour that's more of a sensory tour of the building, and we'll do creative writing in places like our dark cells and our oubliette, which is where prisoners are thrown to be forgotten about and left to rot, and then back in the lighter parts of the top half of the museum before going back to school to actually complete a piece of writing. So the future is really bright, and we are looking for teachers and schools to maybe become partner schools with, to form that really amazing creative writing offer that we want to. So that's about it. I know you're familiar with us. Obviously, we're a bit of a staple. We always do pre-visits if it's something that you're interested in, and if there's something you want in particular, please just get in contact and we can see what we can do.
Amazing. Thanks, Joe. That's great. And hi, Joe. Next, can we come over to Sophie at Tom Dale? Welcome, Sophie.
Hello.
Hi,
everyone. Nice to meet you all. So I'm Sophie Thorpe, and I'm a freelance dancer and movement specialist, and I'm a company dancer and the participation lead for Tom Dale Company. So for those of you that don't know anything about Tom Dale Company, we're a touring contemporary dance company actually based in Nottingham that fuse movement and choreography, electronic music and digital technology. We collaborate with a real wide range of artists, and we deliver a real wide range of participatory activities for young people. These can absolutely be bespoke to the needs of the different groups we're working with. I've got over about 13 years of participation experience working with lots of different kinds of young people. So some of the projects we've just done, to give you a little insight, we had a project at Nottingham Contemporary. We managed to get up to nearly 1,000 people over the course of the 6 shows come and watch. We had lots of young people perform from across the county. It was a completely free event for them to get involved. And it was amazing. They got to perform at Nottingham Contemporary with these amazing projection mappers and work with different choreographers and then have a performance. It was performed as part of Light Night. So yeah, we can run a variety of different workshops, from kind of one-off where we look at how to empower ourselves through movement. We can build trust, heighten our awareness, find ways to listen with our bodies and really tune into each other. We can do anything from like one-offs to whole week residencies. We're very, very flexible in what we can deliver.
That's amazing. Thanks, Sophie.
Perhaps.
And sorry, I haven't kept my eye on chat, but I'll have a look next time round. If we come over quickly to Jackie, if that's okay, from Positively Empowered Kids.
Yes, hello. I've got another hat on as well today because I'm very excited. So I'm just going to show you my t-shirt. I am also, with my other hat on today, I'm part of, well, I'm co-founder, not part of, Emotions Toolkit, which is a resource for schools, for children, for families, of how to manage your emotions effectively. Back in August, we released this book, Spread the Smile. So I'm an author as well, to teach children from as young as 2 to 7 how to self-regulate their emotions. And then today, oh my gosh, it's the only one in the world, but there is a draft copy, and it is just on Amazon, Spread the Smile activity book, which goes through all the way up to 11, with all the tools that are in the book and how to do them. It's only £9.99 for this particular book. Lots of tips for teachers, tips for parents, and I'm very excited that it's released, so I just wanted to share that with you today. And we also do resilience leader programs and workshops in schools, a whole school kind of provision for primary. The resilience leader program is a train to share, to teach a small number of children how to self-regulate, how to manage their mindset, and build positive mental health. And then they go and decide how they're going to teach that, and then they teach it to the entire school. So I don't have to work anymore. It's the whole idea is to make me redundant, so they take over and run the well-being and the resilience in the school. So that's the Emotions Toolkit. I've had such success with it. If you want to speak to any schools that have worked with me on that, please do let me know. Killistic Juniors is about three or 4 years in now, and it's just amazing how that works. My other hat, which is what Kathy introduced me as, is the social enterprise called Positively Empowered Kids. And I'm going to do the quickest ever presentation that I've ever done, because I know I'm to time and I haven't even timing myself. Window, can never figure this out. There we go. There, that should be it. Okay, so this is us. My co-founder Claire is my business partner in Positively Empowered Kids. We started this 3 years ago, just before lockdown, 2019. It's a social enterprise all about the early intervention and prevention of mental ill health in children, using a network to tap into to really bring lots and lots of services together to really make a bigger difference. So we look at the ecosystem of child, not just the child themselves, but their family environment, the school environment, or anywhere else that they attend, and then the community as well. And we support all areas, which I won't go into all the areas today because I will be going for about an hour. Back in 2019, we ran a festival to empower kids and families with techniques and tips of how to really start to embed some good stuff early on before they get to crisis point. So we had an open mic stage, kids doing stalls, and lots of services there. That was at Nottingham Racecourse. In 2020-2021, if I said that right, because of the pandemic, we brought all the events online. So on YouTube, you will find all of these, including for teachers, a teacher wellbeing festival. So lots of tips for you. And there's all sorts, and these are all free to share. So you can use any of these resources, lots and lots. You can see the number of videos we have of different workshops from our experts. You can go and explore that for free. Just type in our name on YouTube. We also have a free family empowerment hub on our website, 50 videos from different experts, 10 minutes, really short spurts with downloadables, all for free under those topics. We know beneath behaviour, there's a real big reason, there's a child with a problem, so we kind of take them in at that level, and we've worked with CAMS on this to get the topics right, so we do partner with them. One of our top projects is the Youth Voice in Action, which we have been offering for free, funded into schools. We haven't got any funding at the moment to offer out, but we are applying for more. So any schools that are interested, please do let us know. We've had some great success. I've used it in a digital democracy platform called Vocalise to, again, just like the Resilience Leader programme, train to share, a small group of children like you can see there, so that they become the teachers and again make us redundant, and they go and teach the rest of the school how to use the platform, so that the children, every single child, can rate, log their own ideas, they can pledge to be part of making an idea happen, and comment on ideas. It's all anonymous. It's absolutely brilliant. We've had some incredible successes of children improving their community, improving their school, little things that have happened so far, but wonderful that when schools take this on and actually listen to what the children want, some really positive change can happen, and it really, the kids feel really empowered and like they've actually been listened to, and it can be really simple things that they want, but actually, and it's easy to make happen. So that's just something, we've got a video on that. If anybody wants to see that, I can send the link. And then this year, most exciting thing, 25th of September, we have Festival is Back, Bigger and Better, a Nottingham race course. We want schools to be involved. We have our first sponsored activity, a superhero cakewalk, to really highlight the fact that children's self-esteem and self-worth is so important to focus on who they are as a person, not what they're capable of academically, really build them up as a person. So we're doing a big cakewalk around the race course. You can also be done in the schools. It can be done for 1.5 miles in your school field or wherever. So yeah, some really good stuff happening there. So do look on our website for the details, or email me. Details are in the chat, and I will stop there. I'm 6 minutes. Apologies, Kathy. Thank you. And I can't get out of this now, so I'll try.
Oh, that's great, Jackie. Loads going on, and for people to connect with you would be brilliant.
Thank you.
Fantastic. Thank you, guys. I think Alice is here as well from the Culture Syndicates to tell you a little about herself and the projects that are happening there. Please do make use of the chat if you have questions, and we can ask them as a group and have a discussion afterwards if there's anything you feel you're wanting to know more about. Alice, over to you.
Hello, I'm Alice. I am a Heritage Assistant at Culture Syndicates, and we are a community interest company, and so one of our main purposes is to work with schools and build partnerships with them so that we can work with them throughout projects that we're doing. So one of the biggest projects that we're doing at the minute, we're putting in the bid for the Nottingham Cathedral project. I'm not sure if people know about Nottingham Cathedral or where it is. I know that I didn't before this project. It's at the top of Maid Marian Way, and what they're doing at the minute is they are restoring all the artwork in the project. They're restoring the original artwork, which was done by an architect called Augustus Pugin. He also designed the Palace of Westminster, and we have actually been in contact with them, and the Houses of Parliament are writing us a letter of support for the project, which is really cool. But anyway, more about how you can be involved. So at the minute, we are primarily working with secondary schools and working to get them involved. We're doing the project in 2 phases. So we're doing a development phase during the 2022-23 academic year, and then during the delivery phase, what we want to do is sort of expand who we're working with. So we are wanting to deliver a range of activities around heritage and conservation as a career. So in terms of primary, what we want to do is sort of scale that down to sort of start thinking about, you know, going into museums and thinking about heritage in a career that's in a way that's relevant to you and your school. Those activities will include workshops and tours of the cathedral. We'll have some exhibitions in there as well, and then at the end of the academic years, what we're hoping to do is have a big celebration event where lots of different schools in the area can come and they can see what we've been up to and what we've been doing, and see the different ways that you can get involved. As I say, working with primary schools is very much something that is sort of in talks and in development stages. So we would really appreciate any expertise that you have to offer on working with primary schools in terms of museums and heritage. And then we've got lots of other projects going on as well. We've got the D.H. Lawrence project, which is one that you might be able to get involved with. And then sort of a most recent addition is that some of us are now Arts Award trained. So we're looking at incorporating Arts Award into the projects so that you can do Arts Award as part of the projects that we're doing. So it's sort of mutually beneficial. But if anybody has any questions or wants to know more about projects that we're doing, please do let me know and I'll give you as much information as I can.
That's brilliant. Thank you, Alice. Thanks so much for coming. Have I missed anybody from an arts organisation that's here? No, I don't think I have. So that's brilliant. Oh, somebody's hand's gone up. I can't see who you are. Oh, Megan, there you are.
Sorry,
hi, Megan.
I came slightly late. I don't really have anything to say, but I'm Megan from a small Nottingham-based charity called Ignite. Our purpose in life is about developing young people's creativity and curiosity, working across the arts and the sciences. We run the Festival of Science and Curiosity, so I'm here more to listen today than to say what we're doing. So, but I thought I'd say hello.
Oh, and thank you. I didn't mean to miss you out at all there. Brilliant.
Kathy, could I just add something?
Yeah, of course.
Sorry, I forgot. It's been a hectic day and my brain's been a bit. So we're at Tomdale Company. We're also offering CPD sessions for primary school teachers to build up their contemporary dance and movement skills. We found that a lot of primary school teachers, they just completely lack confidence and they don't have a clue. So they often just go to YouTube, type anything in, and put it on and get the kids to learn off that, and feel like there's an area we can really tap into to really build up these teachers and help develop their skills. I led a session at the end of last year through Mighty Creatives. We had lots of different schools, and the feedback was that it was really, really useful for teachers moving forward. They just felt, much more empowered to be able and confident, felt like they had lots of tools and tips and tricks to take away that they could actually use in their classrooms.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Great. So somebody that sent apologies today was Rosny from Woollerton Hall in Newstead Abbey, and she's really sorry that she couldn't make it, and she really wanted for me to ask you guys a question, particularly of the teachers. And I thought this might be a nice moment, because we didn't do introductions and a kind of round robin past the nominate somebody else and say who they are earlier. It'd be really nice to hear from some of the teachers actually, and get to know you as well, and the situation at your school and where you're up to, whether you're doing your arts mark, or if you've had to go at Arts Award, where you feel you are in terms of your kind of arts provision and things. One of the questions that Rosny really wanted us to discuss, and maybe we could have a quick conversation before we have a presentation from Martin, was around resources, digital resources that you use and that you access, and some examples of good and bad resources. Basically, at Newstead, they've got a project around D.H. Lawrence. So Alice mentioned D.H. Lawrence as well. They're wanting to use writing and art as a tool to look at the connection to place, to Newstead, but also where people live, their homes, the environment and nature. And they're wanting to put together a resource that will be like a PDF, but with links to videos and demonstrations and things, and a mix of activities. And I think I suppose if you're interested and would be willing to have a conversation with Rosny directly, should really appreciate a few direct conversations with teachers. So if you wouldn't mind just sort of saying in the chat, yeah, I'm happy to chat to Rosny about the development of this new resource for teachers across Nottingham. But also just to open up the conversation in terms of what's useful to you. How are you still accessing lots of digital resources? I know there was a proliferation of loads of stuff during lockdown, and lots of arts organisations created digital resources for schools. But was there anything in particular that you felt in your experience really worked and really helped? Megan, I don't know if your hand's still up or if that's a legacy hand.
Sorry, legacy hand.
Okay, legacy hand. No, that's cool. So yeah, it's any of the teachers out there that have been accessing sort of digital resources, whether that's from cultural organisations or other arenas where you've kind of thought, yeah, that's been a sort of really useful, relevant piece of work that you've benefited from, that would be useful for all the arts partners that are in the room here today, because lots of them have to develop these sorts of things for you. Could you can put your hand up, or you feel free to just unmute yourself and let us know. Chris.
Hi, yeah. So I think during lockdown, I don't think my previous school used a lot of the digital resources, but something that we did get from different organisations was the artefact boxes, especially for like history and geography, and having those in schools, those practical things in schools, really made the difference where we couldn't necessarily go out to a museum or to experience it in the flesh. Having those within school, joined up the link, and even having them after, you know, more recently when we have been going on trips, having them after to explore really added context to the materials, or even having them before, you know, it generated that discussion, that interest, that spark, really to get them interested in the topic. So that's something that is really helpful for schools. Just want to add a new curriculum lead to a small school in Nottingham at Snakewood, and I know I've got a few trips organised in a few of the areas, especially like the Justice Museum and things. So we're really eager to develop our arts curriculum. Our curriculum in general, we're on the first phase of our new curriculum this year, but the arts and really utilising the rich wealth of heritage and culture in Nottingham is something that we're really eager. We're kind of out in the sticks in Bulwell. We're not quite in Bulwell, we're kind of on the outskirts. So, you know, having the children who probably don't leave Bulwell very often to go into Nottingham or the wider area, having those experiences is really, really important for them, and something that we're eager to develop.
Brilliant. We're really pleased that you could join us today. So thanks for coming along.
Yeah. Can I just ask a question? Sorry, what boxes were you using? Because a long time ago, there used to be a wealth of that sort of resource around. I'm just wondering which ones you'd accessed in terms of the history and the geography support.
So I'm new to the role and new to the school this year, but in my previous school, we accessed it was in Key Stage 1. It was the boxes for old toys. We did Queen Victoria. We got some, you know, Victorian artifacts. I think one group we went for, I think it was ancient Egypt. We had like an archaeological dig box, that kind of thing. I've not seen much out there for sort of art or DT or anything like that, and that would be sort of interesting, you know, especially for things like sculpture. Things that would be quite cool to have, but history, it kind of lends itself well to those kind of artifact boxes. But yeah.
Okay, thanks.
Any thoughts from any other teachers around digital resources or the stuff that you found useful? Louise.
Hey Kathy, hi, you
Hi.
right?
Yeah.
Chris, I work at Crabtree, which is very close to you.
I know it is. Hi Louise, you're right.
Hi, I'm fine. Welcome. I've been there for about 4 years now. Strangely, we don't use enough digital resources at all in school. And when I'm was at a meeting recently, Kathy, when we were at the event with the creative collaboratives, I was very aware that we are doing lots of things in school to do with drama, especially at the moment, and we are not recording them on anything in particular. And it's something that I know that we need to develop as a school, whether we put it into sort of iMovie or any other digital format. I'm not particularly savvy with it myself, but if anybody on the chat or here today can recommend anything we could do with the drama, because at the moment they're all just saved files on our main server, but I would like the children to be able to use them or look at them or do something with them. So it's kind of a backward question really, because I don't think we do enough, and I don't know what to do at the moment. It's something we need to develop.
And that's really interesting, Louise, because actually my question wasn't about how you make use of digital technologies in school.
Okay.
But that is a really important question.
Yeah.
I was going at it in a much more straightforward way in terms of arts organisations developing, you know, PDFs and lesson plans and inspirational prompts and things like that. But actually, how digital technologies can be used, how you're recording students and then using that to help feedback and reflect on their learning and the things they've done and see themselves, is another whole area that would be really good to explore.
Absolutely. I would really, if anyone's got any help or advice or anything that we could use, because, you know, we want our children to build up their confidence, and they need to be able to watch themselves, and we need to watch things back and then discuss how they can move on. So any suggestions would be gratefully accepted.
Well, I think Alice might have a suggestion. Alice, do you want to just say what you were just putting in the chat?
Yeah, so I've just put a link to Adobe Spark. I used it for university projects and it's free to use, and I found it really easy to use. So I'm assuming it would be quite easy for primary school students to use as well. So you might find it helpful, you might not, but it's worth a shot.
Yeah.
Great.
Chris has got his hand up as well, I think.
Oh, Chris, have you got your hand up?
Yeah, sorry, it was just to ask one thing. I think, Sophie, you were referring to it earlier, but I think professional knowledge in areas like arts and dance are quite lacking, you know, in the curriculum, and certainly at our school where we've got quite a new members of staff. So having that digital resource where you could access plans, videos, pedagogies and approaches to teaching them would be incredibly helpful. Especially, you know, for some of the new members of staff that may not have taught it before, and it stops, like you said, you know, stops. I can't remember if you or somebody else said it. Stops people just going to YouTube and things because, you know, or go to, not that Twinkle's bad or anything like that, but to make life easier, people go there for their planning and things like that because they don't know enough themselves, so they go to the first and the quickest resource they can do.
Yeah.
Hopefully, I'll to help you later on.
Oh,
and Charlotte, I think, has got a hand up. Thanks, Chris.
Yeah, I guess, Chris, this is a question for you. Like, we have lots of resources on our website, but I recognise that our website is often quite tricky to navigate. Like our Learn section is called Exchange. We have lots of buttons and ways to kind of find resources, but I realise that it can be difficult. What's the best way to kind of get resources out to teachers and to schools? Is there, like,
I think having things in place would be helpful. Sorry,
say that again.
I think there's a bit of an echo. I'm not sure. Sorry, I think having it essentially in one place would be really helpful.
Yeah.
Or a direct link that teachers could go to, so they don't have to go clicking through the websites. I've just been on Nottingham Contemporary just to have a look at the Summer Sing stuff. So I've not had an explore yet. I think that would be maybe even like a login section or something like that. I don't know.
Yeah, we can probably as well try and help with the work we're doing around the rucksack, try and pull some more stuff together for you on the website there. So leave that with me and we'll look at doing a piece of work around that, 'cause it links into what I'll be talking about later as well.
Thank you.
Yeah, and I think the challenge website, Maria's here on the calls. Maria is our marketing associate for Challenge, and you'll if you've signed up as a Cultural Rucksack school and you've signed up to our mailing list, you'll get bi-monthly newsletters from Challenge, which basically are just an amazing compendium of all the things from lots of different arts organisations, the stuff they have going on, the resources, the CPD opportunities, the the events that you can bring your kids to. And yeah, it's a really rich, sort of huge amount going on in Nottingham. And I think that sense of what will be important for the Cultural Rucksack is the place-based stuff that's important to Nottingham, how you can use Nottingham and the resources and the assets that are here and the heritage that's here within your planning and your just to further your own understanding really of the history and culture of Nottingham. So I'm hoping that that's what we'll build as we go through the next few years in terms of a real sense of connection to the city and the neighbourhoods where you are. Brilliant. I think, Martin, it's kind of over to you now.
It might be, yeah, it's probably quite opportune as well, so I'll do the horrible dancing around while I try and share everything. Oh. Right, hang on. I've got everything on here. Sorry about this.
Oh, that's okay.
Like everybody else used to.
If anyone else has any other thoughts about anything that sparks anything after these meetings, please do just drop us a line. I'll put my email in as well, because we want this to lead on to the next thing and to lead on to action. So yeah.
I've never seen it come up like this before. Sorry about this, folks. I need just talk about. I'll tell you what, while I'm doing this, he says, because one of the questions I was going to ask everybody, because I've heard a few people talking about CPD and CPD offers, which is great. It'd be lovely to try and coordinate and tie that together from two perspectives. One, to get a clear understanding perhaps from schools, we've had a hint about that today, about what CPD you might need. And I think we've had, I mean, Chris has already suggested stuff there around, you know, resourcing and upskilling staff around delivery of dance and drama in particular. So that's interesting. But also from providers, what you can do. And we already had, you know, Sophie's already suggested some offers that she can do, for example. So, I mean, trying to tie that together more neatly, I think, is one of the tasks that I'd like to see us taking on as a group, but also something that Challenge and the Cultural Rucksack can help instigate. Because that, I think, is probably one of our, if I was looking at what I would like to focus on next, it would be that. Having gathered lots of information, which I'm hoping I can share with you in a minute or two while you're talking, I can find it. Having gathered that, it'd be really interesting to take this as our next stage, really, to begin to embed and get that sense of place picked up on as well that Kathy was talking about. So really, again, going back to schools, I mean, Christian mentioned something already, but in terms of CPD, it might be the IT thing as well, and what offers there are in terms of supporting your teaching around IT to help record and develop skills. So I can already see a couple of things, little workshops we could develop straight away. Is there anything else that is really nattering at you teachers about, yeah, I'd love to get a bit more support on this, because there's people around us here who can help. What are you doing? I'll try and share.
One of the things just to add is that we're trying to develop quite a bespoke curriculum this year, and we're quite lucky with where we are. We've got a lot of rich history and geography that we're exploiting as much as possible. Stuff that I didn't really even know that was here, but the local arts, because obviously we've got a lot of the art curriculum that we've developed at the moment. It just seems quite generic. That local art state, given that Nottingham's such a rich hub for all of that, would be important. But it's knowing what's there and what's out there that we can use and exploit. Really.
And that, yes, hopefully that's why things. When I've just found out what my problem is, I've got security settings which are blocking me at the moment, so I'm going to have to do a bit of hasty thing. But that's part of what we're trying to achieve through the Cultural Rucksack, and trying to develop the handbook as well of a list of what all the providers can do in the city is something that we're getting fairly close to nailing now. So that should be something that's on its way to you. I mean, Kathy and Miriam might be able to tell you a little bit more while I desperately send this to another computer. Right, there we go.
Absolutely. Yeah, so we've been busy gathering together the core offers that you can depend on year in, year out, the ways in which different arts organisations work with schools, essentially, from all kinds of organisations, lots of arts organisations across the city. So you'll have a lovely chunky book in your hands. It won't just be sitting on a website. It will be something that you can flick through, that you won't have to necessarily pick up all the leaflets from lots of different places, but it'll be there with the contact details of every arts organisation we can think of locally. And within that as well, there'll be additional kind of handbook type guide information for new teachers potentially that haven't necessarily done trips before and don't know the process and might be a bit nervous about it, to kind of just making the case for those trips as well, how it links into national policies and the sorts of research that kind of really help you make the case if you're having to talk to your head teacher about it. So so yeah, we're really looking forward to being able to give these all out at a beautiful launch event, or you'll get one in the post, but it would be lovely to all get together and be able to hand them out. And yeah, it will be this summer term that that's happening. The other thing that I think Martin wanted me to mention, just so that you're all aware, some of you will be involved in this, but the Louise mentioned the Creativity Collaboratives meeting, the launch event that took place at the council house, and that was just an incredibly lovely lovely event. Louise, do you want to say anything in terms of your involvement there and how it was for you?
Sorry, can you hear me now?
Yeah, can you see the presentation?
Yeah,
there?
I can. Yeah. Firstly, I would say that it was just really nice for our kids to be able to go to the council house and have a look at the building. In fact, we did mention when we came back that it would have been really nice for them to have a little tour of some of the rooms, and we'd like to do that in the future.
Yeah.
But I think for us, I think it was quite difficult timing. That was the only thing, where it was placed the week we came back, and we only had a few days to prepare for it. However, it was an amazing afternoon, and it was really good to see other schools. There are 12 schools in total. What other schools were doing, what other people were up to. The speakers were excellent, and for me personally, my group, one of my girls that came with us, she was an arts ambassador. She just developed a lot of confidence in one afternoon talking to teachers and artists, and it was incredible. So it was a really, really good afternoon, and it was useful to be able to go and magpie some ideas from schools, things that we're not doing that other people are doing, and vice versa, but also being able to make those contacts with local artists. And I spoke to a number of people about things that they were doing, and it was incredible.
Yeah, it was brilliant. And I think yeah, just the eloquence of the young people that were involved that we spoke to, and the way that they were all able to share the importance of creativity in their school and was really, really fantastic. So Martin's got his screen share going.
Oh, dear Lord, tell you, that was excellent. Oh.
So if you just put it up as a slideshow, Martin.
Oh, not doing that yet. Crikey.
All right.
It was to start with. Hang on. Is that better?
I can still see the slides on the left. I don't know about others.
Oh, crikey.
Yeah. If you do like slideshow.
I have done. Yeah, I did the slide. That's what I've just done. Let's escape again. But that's that one there, isn't it? That should be slideshow on here. Oh, sorry, folks, this is terrible.
All right.
Oh, should I just talk to this? Because I don't know what's going wrong today at all. Having done 2 years of this quite happily. And just not working.
Oh, oh, wow, you've appeared as a little person on top.
I know, I can see that now.
Like this conversation about digital resources and what we're doing. I think we just have to keep up with whatever Microsoft tell us to do, don't we?
Right, I'll come out of that because I can't work that. Hopefully you can see something. I don't know what you can see, to be honest with you. But I'm just going to whiz through. Oh God, it's not even. Oh, I'm so sorry. This is. Oh, there we are. Got something working. For that, this is just our introductory slide about what Cultural Rucksack is and what we're trying to achieve, and it's doing very much what we're attempting to do tonight. But I'm obviously doing my best to destroy it. Bringing all the wide range of cultural organisations we have across the city in direct contact with schools, so we can develop that relationship and improve on it. It's not that we haven't had a good relationship, we just want to make that better and grow it and develop it into the future. So the rucksack's a combination of all sorts of things, really, and I've got a couple of slides of the type of thing we were looking at doing right from the start. Pledge, which I'm hoping schools have signed up to that are here today. I know providers have as well. They got a pledge for them, and I think we're talking, Kathy, about developing a certificate, aren't we? Because I know school foyers haven't got enough certificates in them probably, and we could always do with a lot more. But yeah, we're looking at trying to recognise that now a little bit more formally, looking at developing leads in both schools, which we're doing very well, and in the providers as well, which is something that's always been a challenge, but from both sides, to make sure there's who do we contact in each organisation, being clear about that. I'll come on to the curriculum planning stuff in just a minute. I mean, Chris was talking about some of that earlier. Culture meets are happening. Wall planners being done. I know the one for next year is being designed now. And the bit we'll talk about shortly is about the booklet, the cultural map, about knowing what's out there. That was something that staff in schools were constantly asking us, so we've tried our best to pull that together with the help of our providers. Individual support for schools, and the CPD is linked to that as well, which is why I asked the question earlier. And I'd love to bring us all face to face and try and launch this physically one day. Maybe when we've got those handbooks done, it'll be an excuse to get together and have a bit of a knees up, he says. We set up a similar group for secondary schools as well. I'll come on to challenge about transport and visits in a minute or two. And as I said, a physical launch is key. Some progressive curriculum stuff we're looking at introducing, which I'll talk about as well. Pupil voice, again, lots happening around that. You've seen that already from some of the things that are going on. Case studies, last time we had a talk from Researching Arts in Primary Schools, where there's loads of case studies being developed there, and we've got links to that on the website. We're not very good for secondary case studies, so that's another thing I need to do as well. We need to look a little bit more around the impact. So a lot of these things were read 18 months ago, now turning incredibly yellow, and then more and more turning green, which is really encouraging. So this is one of the things that staff were asking us to do. They didn't know where things were and what there was out there. So this will be as part of our new handbook, which Kathy and Marie are doing a huge amount of work to pull together. And this is our stage one. So
Martin, we can't see any of the slides moving forward, just so you know.
Really? Got the movies forward on mine. Oh, why is this happening to me today?
I'm sorry, Martin.
I know. I'm sorry as well. Let me just think.
Oh, it just did then. So now it's on number 5, the map.
Right, okay, I'll leave it there. Maybe that will help us. I'm really sorry. And then we've done another map as well to cover the Greater Nottingham area. Well, if you like, more than just the city centre. So not quite the Greater Nottingham, but beyond the city centre. Again, I don't know how well you'll be able to see this, but these are some mock-up pages that have been developed. They'll be part of the handbook, and we're trying to make sure that all the key providers in the city are letting us know what their core offer is, which is, again, what staff are asking us about, and we're sharing that on here. So it's not only where is the provision, but what does it do, and that core offer is what is on offer, if you like, almost day in, day out. Of course, all our providers are developing lots of sort of initiatives and themes, which will be sort of shorter term, but this is here to help you try and plan and develop your curriculum by knowing what they can do. So as you can see, probably in very small format, but the pages are there. I guess what I'm saying is it's happening. It's moving from being talked about to being pulled together. And then I'm going to try and do a little bit more work and doing a more direct map between curriculum areas. You can't quite see it on here, curriculum areas, providers and what they do, so we can map it across more directly, and perhaps as a summary of the provision. So we're hoping to pull that together. And then in addition to that, other things that are going into the handbook are just some support, I suppose, on how to plan visits when you do go out, as well as getting people in, but when you do get that chance to go out, how you might do that effectively. And that visit element was something I wanted to have a little chat about today, really, because I've done some work that Kathy asked me to, just to look at where you all go as schools and where they all go to as providers. And again, I'm not quite sure how well you're going to be able to see the next slide. I'm going to put my specs on if I'm going to see anything on there. But I know most of you use something called Evolve, which is for planning your school visits. And I managed to get down all the Evolve data for 2019 to see where you went and why you went to the various locations. And these are the whys. This is why you go out in terms of going to visits, just local visits around Nottingham. So it's just quite interesting looking where art stands in that. Only 2% of visits have an art-based theme. DT has 1.2%, English drama 8%. The big ones, of course, PE, science is interesting at 10% as well. Personal development, and then things like geography and environmental and history. So that's the why we go out. And the sort of locations you go to, well, arts locations, about 20%. The visits to actual arts destinations, about 10% to heritage, just as the city centre itself, often self-led visits, about 30%, over 30% to sports things. Visiting higher education establishments is very popular. And then when we talked about, actually on Friday, was the number of visits that go to shops and restaurants. Sounds like you're all having a jolly nice time, as well as heritage sites. And then where do schools go in terms of arts provision? And this is the arts provision for 2019. So over 200 visits to arts locations, and these are the places that were recorded. So cinema's quite high. Then we've got, as we like to think, those contemporary, Playhouse, Theatre Royal, all scoring quite highly there, which is great to see. New Art Exchange, Lakeside. So the places you expect to see, but I guess from my point of view, I would have expected to try and see more visits to those locations. I don't know why, I just felt that could be so. So it's something that maybe we need to look at, but I also know there are challenges at the moment. So a little bit of a question for schools, I guess. What are the main challenges at the moment do you feel you've got in terms of getting out and about more and trying to get back to at least 2019 levels, if not beyond? I'm like happy to come in on that. I don't know if you can or not. Tell you what. Any thoughts from folks?
Again, just unmute yourself. Yeah, Louise.
I would say a big one for next year is going to be the amount we've got to put by for electricity. I know that sounds absolutely ridiculous, but a lot of money is going to be put aside for that for next year.
Yeah.
And I know that sounds really sad and negative, but it is. It's real.
Yeah, I can understand. I mean, the other thing that I come across is transport costs, which are just becoming ridiculous.
They are. If you go by Nottingham City Transport on the bus, that's free.
Yeah.
But if you want to go on any other transport, you have to pay. And I know, for example, when I sadly came to the council house for 2 taxis from Bulwell, it was £45 for 2 taxis. And it is not, as you know, it is not very far.
No, not for you guys. Yeah, so I mean, those are just challenges. I think we're going to have to. There's the reality out there, and there's what we would like to do. And I think the two at the moment might be getting a little bit more divergent than they used to be, unfortunately. Anybody else got any particular thoughts about challenges? I mean, just from our own trust that I work for, the cover is still an issue very often. It's just interesting, perhaps, of our provider and arts professional colleagues out there just to be aware of some of these issues as well. I know you probably are, but it's just worth hearing about it.
I think Chris was going to come in.
Yeah, Chris.
Yeah, it was just go to another point. I completely agree with the transport things, especially some of the places that are a bit off the beaten track. They're not in a direct route, so unless they're not in the centre of Nottingham, it's a bit of a pain because you're reluctant to, get those extra costs because it's £300-400 for a coach. Unless you have minibuses, which we don't. But one of the other things that we think about is time. Obviously, time within the curriculum. So there can't just be one-off visits all the time that don't have an impact upon the curriculum and that don't have follow-up work. Which is why the challenge is to align your curriculum with that in mind. Which really excites me about the stuff with the Justice Museum with Stephen to hopefully get that. Yeah. So they're not just one-offs; they do build in well with it. I think that's really important. Yeah. Because as we're analysed on curriculum, it's and judged by Ofsted, if we spent all the time on one-off visits and we don't see the progress in other areas, there'll be a question mark. So it's all right having these fantastic places. It's what we do with them. Yeah. We can't do everything in schools and outside, unfortunately.
Yeah, couldn't agree more. And it's getting that in-depth relationship, which is what they've been the next two slides. We've got a little bit in the handbook that's going to go in, just looking at what, if I can get that moving forward again. I am really having trouble today with this. Sorry, folks, this is just weird.
It's moving on now.
Yeah, I know. I can't understand this at all. So we're going to put a piece in about what high quality arts and cultural education is about, and what you're talking about, Chris, is just that. It's linking, it's the curriculum, it's having developing longer term relationships that are in depth, that are having a real impact as well over time. And I'll miss the next couple of slides out because it's just saying the same sort of thing, really. That's assuming I can, of course, mix the next couple of slides out. That's moving a bit quicker. I mean, just as examples, we've already heard of one really good example of the contemporary of a long-term engagement with the Schools of Tomorrow programme, and I put a little picture into there the other day. That's important. There's also lots of other schemes. There's the Playhouse, Nottingham Playhouse, Primary Partners scheme as well, and the Royal Shakespeare Company, all having long-term relationships. And I think the other thing that I was looking at in terms of just not only CPD, but getting you together, all together to meet up. There has been in the past something called Artscape, which is held at the Contemporary, looking at trying to do that again, so we can get lots of visual arts providers into one place and then invite schools in. Spookily enough, there's something else being organised along similar lines to that between Nottingham Contemporary and Notts County on the 19th of May. So
Playhouse, I think you meant to say.
Playhouse, sorry, yeah, my fault. Yeah, Playhouse in Notts County. So we're looking at one thing we would try and perhaps do is perhaps better coordinate those coming together events. So it might be great if we could have like a Nottingham-wide arts and cultural event where we get all those offers together in one place from the providers, and then the schools can come out and just see the whole lot together. Might be one thing we could work towards. But certainly the Artscape event we're looking at trying to run on the 16th of June, and there's that Primary Teachers Forum between Nottingham Playhouse and Notts County on the 19th. Again, I will just skip through and I'll go straight through to the curriculum planning bit, if you can see that. I was asked to put together a series of curriculum plans, and I've done that now for arts and design, looking at curriculum ladders in 3 or 4 different ways. There's different styles I've pulled together. Now, I know there's been very good support from Nottingham Schools Trust in developing these for those schools who are part of that trust, but not all those schools in the city are, so that's why I've worked on this. So I've looked at a series of curriculum design models, one for art and design, and these will be on our website shortly. You can't be able to see the models for that. I've also done one as well for arts and for drama. So the drama one is looking at making drama, improvising, developing characters, sequencing stories, drama activities and collaborating, and then also looking at a series what progression looks like in those particular areas across the school. Again, performing and reflecting, which was interesting, bearing in mind the conversations we've had today already about how you might record that, and then looking at drama conventions. So the drama one is now pulled together, and it looks at lots of different elements of drama, but gives you as teachers lots of therefore different ways of developing progressive drama curriculum over a period of time from Key Stage 1 and Year 1 through to Year 6. So I've done them so they look at usually from Year 1 to Year 6 all the way through. And I've just done one for dance. Now, I can't pretend I know very much about dance. I've got colleagues out here who probably do. I'd love to share it to get some thoughts on that as well. But again, looking at dance and linking it to vocabulary. And again, in the English one, looking at drama, English and drama writing in particular, how that might fall out of doing those drama activities. Some good areas for lesson plans, by the way, are Oak Academy, which is the national online, if you like, resource to go to. And also I found a really good website called Articulate Education, which was brilliant for supporting drama work. Well worth having a look at that. And these are the plans. So we've got arts and drama, looking at different levels of drawing. We've got it different ways of looking. So that's a skill-based plan. This is a plan in terms of what you'd expect children to be at and be able to recall. Then I've got another one here for art and design, which looks at things in another way, skills as well.
Sorry,
so
Martin, what was the second one you just mentioned? I couldn't quite hear it.
Yeah, okay, I've got one which looks, this one here just looks at
Sorry,
where
the Oak Academy that you mentioned, then you mentioned another resource.
Oak Academy and Articulate.
Articulate, yeah.
Yeah, Articulate. Found those really useful.
Can I ask a quick question in terms of the link to the place-based conversations we're having about how the curriculum ladders link to Nottingham? So these are general kind of potentially national overviews.
Yeah.
Do you think there might be an opportunity to sort of link the? Yeah. I suppose this is what the entitlement. The next slide that you've got up now. There you go.
I've just gone back to it because this is how I started this work ages ago. And then I simplified it down to this, but because people are now getting more interested in the curriculum plan type work, I'll go back to that piece of work I did at the start.
Yeah, yeah.
So what we can do, folks, is make then some of the work in those curriculum ladders link directly into the Nottingham offer.
Yeah.
Would that make sense? I'll take stunned silence as yes. Right, okay. And just to finish off this horrible introduction I've done, yeah, just some key points there. I mean, DFE are currently doing a review of extracurricular activities and enrichment activities, so just be aware of that. And I know Ofsted are beginning to look at some of that a little bit more, not before time. So just something I wanted to highlight out there as well. Plus also Anne Longford, in her Young Lives report, she's the Children's Commissioner for England, looking at exclusions, how that could be dealt with. And one of the things that we're looking at there, which Cathy sent to me, was a potential levy on tech companies to fund specialist creative programmes on the back of that, which I think we would all welcome. Right, I better get out of here. Oh gosh, can I get out of here? Oh, I don't know why that didn't work. I know I'm back now.
You're back. Brilliant.
I've been to hell and back.
Oh dear.
I don't know how many times I've done that without a problem. Anyway.
Well, in the last sort of 10 minutes or so, should we make use of the chat to just make sure that we've answered some of the key questions that came up there? So in terms of the CPD question and the things that you would particularly like for your school or for yourself individually to feel that you would be requests. We want to match the kind of needs and offers that there are available in the city. So for the teachers out there, could you just add some something in the chat now, spend a few minutes just telling us what it is that you feel would be kind of your priorities in terms of CPD. If we're putting together a programme in the coming year that has a slightly more coordinated feel to it, rather than it just be, you know, because there's lots of things that are on offer. The Contemporary do their CPD and Dance 4 do theirs, or you know, Primary and the Playhouse do theirs. So it just feels as though there's lots of things going on, but it's not necessarily coordinated. We want to make sure there are key themes that run through the CPD offers so that it makes sense. So just a few minutes on that, and I'll just give you a bit of time to think. And if the arts organisations in the room also want to just jot down your kind of key things that you feel like you're experts on that you could offer in terms of CPD, then it's just a way for us to capture it in one place. Thank you. Just give it a few minutes.
Sorry, Kathy, I'm struggling with it a little bit just because the way I'm going about the curriculum design is finding out what's out there and adapting what we've currently got to meet it. So I'm not going to know all of the CPD needs until that's really done. Yeah. If you know what I mean, it's tricky for me to think about generalizations that I can make other than the generic CPD that we said earlier about, you know, teaching, you know, high quality dance, teaching high quality art instruction. It'd be great if we had teachers at every school that were highly trained in these areas and have degrees in these subjects, especially in like, you know, primary where they don't often have it.
There are things that are a little bit, because some things that have come up in conversation have been around how teachers themselves can see themselves and others view them as creative individuals, and when we bring out their own creativity, that's when they build confidence as teachers to bring it out in others. And I wonder whether there's something there in terms of, somebody suggested last week that they'd like to organise a kind of teachers club. So it's not necessarily just a one-off CPD that happens that teachers come to, but that we organise some trips for teachers. So we have these meetings, but we also are doing some kind of building their own capacity to see and take part in the cultural life of the city to an extent, and then can share it, because there's lots of teaching assistants and teachers that haven't necessarily been to many of these venues themselves that we're wanting them to connect with. Just maybe an area for development potentially.
Yeah, I mean, would it be useful to have like an arts teachers team chat room just to share ideas across the city?
Oh yeah,
I think that would be great. Yeah, certainly, you know, places you could go to for
yeah.
that.
Yeah, I mean, I find that really useful within, because obviously I work for Greenwood Academy Trust, and we got schools spread right across Eastern England, and I have all little hubs, and everyone in those hubs just all meets, and there's loads of great practices shared. Maria's got a hand up; she's bursting to say something.
There is a Facebook group.
All right.
Right,
yeah,
I'll get on it.
for teachers to do just that, but yeah, not many people have joined. I think there's 80 members.
Yeah, so, and we want that to be something where teachers themselves are posting and sharing, so it's not just coming from challenge, but it's like an opportunity for you guys to be sharing the things that you see and do, and recommend to each other, so that community of practice builds amongst yourselves.
Sorry, can I ask what the Facebook group's called?
I'll share a link. Yeah.
Oh, you're a star.
Thank you, Maria.
Yeah, perhaps if we can post some stuff up on there, like, I haven't thought about that. It's just putting, you know, some of the websites I come across could be quite useful just to share those, if nothing else. I have to open my Facebook account from somewhere, but I haven't used
it. Go on, be brave and press enter on your chats. I can see people typing, but nobody's pressed enter.
Huge essays. What do you mean?
That's great. So there's lots coming up this summer term. I hope you all have a brilliant summer term. And here we go. I think we've got, we obviously, oh, here we go. So Charlotte's saying the current CPD is about how art making can encourage children's leadership and amplify children's voices. Yeah. It's great.
Yeah.
And Louise, been asking staff at Crabtree about the arts, and most people are quite confident with the drama, and it's prioritised more as it links in with the writing. Yeah. And they work with the Believe Academy in Hucknall, but they want some dance CPD. So, yeah. Sophie, you've got a request.
There you go.
So, they're going to book some staff meetings next year to do some art workshops, as some staff feel like they're lacking in skills like sculpture and mosaics. So that's really good to know. It's really helpful to know some of these specifics, I think.
Yeah. It goes back to Chris's like needs analysis. Once Chris has got that, you know, what your needs are then to support the delivery of your curriculum. Yeah. So we really need this two-way conversation.
We do.
So
yeah.
Providers are providing, you know, the professionals who know what the schools require, and then they can begin to adapt some change to suit that, and, you know, and the other way as well, taking advantage of what the arts provision can do.
Yeah, brilliant. Thank you.
Just a quick one, Kathy. I mean, all the curriculum models are put together. We're going to put those on the website. I haven't sent you the drama ones yet, but
yeah, all of those links will go up on the website in the Cultural Rucksack area, the website. And for those that are watching this and on rewatch, on catch up, the Facebook group is just challenge and then so challenge NOTTM. So you can look up and join the Facebook group as well.
Yeah. And any feedback? Sorry, any feedback on those curriculum plans? Please let me know, because we can always develop and grow those over time.
Yeah. Louise has also mentioned the DT curriculum is pretty dry and they'd like something to make it more interesting.
All right.
So,
how many days have we got left?
That's brilliant. So I think, has anyone got any other questions of anybody's presentations or the things that the ways in which we might be able to collaborate in the future together, the things that you'd like to see happening? We've got a few more minutes for the end of the meeting. Any other things that people would like to bring up as burning issues for you? If not, then I think we can close a few minutes early. I think Louise is just going to add something into the chat. But thank you all so much for coming. We really appreciate your time at a busy time of year, and it's really great to see you all. So thanks so much.
Thanks for your patience as well.
Yes, thanks for your patience. So yeah, take care, everyone.
Okay, cheers then. Bye.
Your evening.
Thank you.
Well.
I'll leave this open, so if anyone wanted to